I spent a long time looking for answers about how to not take things personally. And there is a lot of advice out there. And honestly, most of it doesn't work. And I know that for a specific reason, because until pretty recently, I was a professional at taking things personally. In fact, when my wife heard what I was working on, she said, "Wait, you're making a video about how to not take things personally?" Now, I could have taken that personally, but I didn't because of what I'm going to show you in this video. Coming up, I'm going to show you why you take things personally, why most of the advice on the web doesn't work, and then run you through an experience to actually start making real changes so you can stop taking things so personally. But before we talk about why you take things personally, you need to understand just how damaging this habit really is, especially to your relationships. Taking things personally leads to fights that never should have happened. It turns simple misunderstandings into emotional landmines, and it slowly poisons relationships that could have been great. Over time, people start to change how they behave around you. They start to walk on eggshells. They measure every word. They have to manage you. And the fun they used to have with you is gone. And then they start to resent you. And when that happens, the criticism you thought you were getting becomes very real. And here's the part nobody really talks about. Living that way is exhausting for you and for them. And you end up miserable, like angry, sad, sometimes all at the same time. I live in Switzerland and we don't have a car, so I spend a lot of time riding public transit, which gives me a chance to observe a lot of couples. And some are laughing, holding hands, kidding each other, having a great time. And some just look sour and depressed. On the way to the airport a couple of days ago, the train was crowded and I sat next to a woman and her daughter, and there was another guy there too. It wasn't until the woman asked the guy to get her luggage down that I realized he was the dad. They never looked at each other or even acknowledged each other's existence in the whole trip. But when she made that request, he gave a sour look and she kind of rolled her eyes. Even a simple request gets coded as some kind of a personal attack once things have gone on this long. It's sad, and that could have easily been me doing the same thing. So stop it before it's too late. So the obvious question is, why is it so hard to stop? Because if it was just a matter of thinking, we'd have all done it a long time ago. That's why the advice you get on the web doesn't work. It asks you to think clearly, to take a step back. Like, what did that person say? Are you mind reading some malicious intent that wasn't really there? Stop, reframe, and then respond in a positive way. You stop the fight before it ever starts. There's a scene in the Sherlock Holmes movie with Robert Downey Jr. that perfectly explains why this kind of advice doesn't work. Holmes is in the middle of a brutal fight and his opponent is about to finish him off. And then Sherlock freezes time in his mind and he carefully narrates exactly what's going to happen next. First, distract target. Then, block his blind jab, counter with cross to left cheek. Discombobulate. Dazed, he'll attempt wild haymaker. Employ elbow block. Body shock. Block furrow left, weaken right jaw. Break cracked ribs. Traumatize solar plexus. Dislocate jaw entirely. Heel kick to diaphragm. In summary, ears ringing, jaws fractured, 3 ribs cracked, 4 broken, diaphragm hemorrhaging, physical recovery, 6 weeks. Full psychological recovery, 6 months. That was fun. That is what you're supposed to do when you perceive that someone's attacking you with their words or actions. Stop time and go through a series of psychological planning steps and then deploy them in real time. I don't know about you, but I can't stop time in my mind. If you can, I want to watch your video. When someone criticizes you or even sounds critical, your body reacts first. Your chest tightens, your stomach drops, your mind goes into defense mode or attack mode. By the time you're thinking, the reaction already happened. And it's hard to come back out of that kind of fight mode. That's the missing piece. Taking things personally isn't a thinking problem. It's a defense mechanism from your unconscious mind that activates faster than conscious thought. Here's something important to notice about yourself. You don't actually take everything personally, do you? If you did, you couldn't function. You take certain things personally from certain people. And it's not random. If a person important to you told you you don't know anything about kite surfing, and you'd never even thought about kite surfing before, you'd laugh. It'd be absurd. There's nothing to grab onto. Of course, I don't know anything about kite surfing, but picture this. You just started kite surfing. You've been struggling, you've spent money on it, you sunk time into it, and somewhere in the background, you're already worried that your spouse resents all this money and time kind of put into this hobby. Now imagine that person said, you don't know anything about kite surfing. Same words, very different reaction, because now it hits something that's already tender, right? And that's a pattern. The things you take personally aren't insults. They're confirmations, or at least they feel like confirmations. They land on fears you're already carrying about your competence, your worth, and your lovability, which means the whole problem isn't what people say. It's what you already believe might be true about yourself. So pay attention to what really sets you off, because then you'll see where you feel insecure, like unfinished, messed up, or unlovable. Most of these troubling beliefs didn't start in your adult life. They started early. Little conclusions you made as a kid about who you are, what you're worth, and what you have to do to be accepted. And you've been carrying these beliefs around ever since, usually without even realizing it. That's why it's not about having a thicker skin. It's about how much you respect and accept yourself. There's a line from Louise Hay that always stuck with me. She says, almost every problem that people struggle with comes down to how much they love and respect themselves. If you genuinely respect yourself, most criticism sounds absurd or not like criticism at all. Not because you think you're perfect, but because it just doesn't match how you see yourself. And when someone is right, when you really did mess something up, then you can see it clearly, fix it, and move on. No drama, no emotional spiral. Just watch the difference. Imagine this, because this just happened to me a couple days ago. You put a pizza in the oven and you set the timer for 20 minutes. Someone, maybe your spouse or romantic partner, says to you, you cooked the pizza for 10 minutes, not 20. That's it. That's the entire sentence. Now, watch what happens next. If you have a healthy respect for your intelligence and your self-worth, you hear the helpful correction. Oh, okay, I must have misread the package. Information received, course corrected, no emotional charge. But if you don't respect yourself, if somewhere deep inside there's this fear that others don't respect you, you don't hear that sentence. You hear the translation. You're so stupid, you don't even know how to cook a pizza right. Same words, completely different meaning. And that meaning wasn't in the sentence. Your unconscious mind added it automatically to defend that wounded part of you. The thing I said at the beginning of the video about when my wife laughed about me making a video, but not taking things personally, a year ago, maybe less time than that, that would have definitely upset me. I would have heard, who are you trying to kid? You're screwed up and you think you can help other people? You're a loser. Which, just to be clear, she did not say. But this time, I didn't take it personally because I've accepted that part of myself. I know I've taken things personally. I know it's been a thing, so it's funny. Once you stop fighting a truth about yourself, it stops becoming a weapon. And you don't have to fix anything. You just have to accept and love yourself as you are now, not once you lose 10 pounds or once you get a raise or whatever. This is kind of difficult, but look in a mirror and say, insert name, I love and accept you just the way you are. Practice saying it whenever you can and start to mean it. I love and accept myself. Now, I've had clients who tell me, I can't do that. I just can't do that. If you can't do that yet, then accept that about yourself. Say, I accept that I'm having a difficult time accepting myself. And then you're on your way. And things will start to change immediately. And that's important because changing your entire self-image overnight isn't realistic for everyone. So we're going to try to do it anyway. I'm going to lead you through a simple exercise that's going to help you start that change. Now, if you're driving or walking or multitasking, just pause the video and come back when you have a few minutes to really focus and concentrate on this. When you're ready, sit back and get comfortable. As you sit comfortably, I want you, for a moment, to focus on your breathing. I want you to pretend and imagine that you're breathing in comfort and breathing out tension. And as you continue to breathe like this, just focus on your body. And if you notice any tension anywhere, just let it go as you exhale. In your mind, softly and slowly, repeat the word relax 4 times. And as you repeat the word, you can begin to relax. Let every muscle relax. As you do that, you may become more aware of ideas and images that drift into the mind automatically. And allow yourself to drift down deeper and deeper into that feeling. Allow yourself to drift deeper and deeper, and imagine that's happening all by itself as you listen to the sound of my voice. It's easy to pay close attention to things that are wrong. It's easy to be a critic, to find fault with everything. It's easy to find reasons to not feel good, to not feel comfortable, to hide yourself from others. It's easy to not like yourself or to not trust yourself, to be okay. It's harder to have the courage to see things in a different light. It's harder to take a risk and enjoy yourself, your life, and other people. It's harder just to say what the heck, to not care what anyone thinks. And it's hard to give yourself permission to feel good, no matter what. Or is it? Maybe it's easy. Maybe it's easy to do, but you've been afraid to do it because you do know how and you can do it now. But sometimes it feels wrong to really believe you're okay. When you might be wrong, but who's to say? And so from now on, I want you to know it's okay to do that crazy thing, to let yourself feel that way. You can do it now, today, and you can do it tomorrow. You can see what's okay about you and what you do. And you can see those things quite clearly and feel comfortable too. You can alter your mind and alter your mood, even if you have to pretend for a while that this new way of thinking and feeling is because of something you took, a pill perhaps, or something that was done to you, hypnosis perhaps. And you really can't help it. That's just the way you feel, confident, happy, and pleased, knowing that feeling is real. So you can do it now, or you can let your unconscious do it for you. So you don't have to know what's gotten into you. When your whole way of thinking about you changes now and then. And now, as I count from 1 to 5, you'll allow an energy to rise up inside of you. As you go on with your day, you'll notice yourself looking for even the smallest signs of the good in yourself, in your experiences, in the things and people around you, because you'll always get what you're looking for. And success breeds more success. Each time you see some good brings you closer to goodness. 1, you find yourself feeling physically stronger and fitter, more awake, more energetic, much less preoccupied with the challenges of yesterday, and much more aware of your abilities. Your nerves are stronger and steadier, your mind calmer and clearer, more composed, more peaceful and at ease. 2, you realize you think more clearly, concentrate more easily, and you see things in their true perspective without allowing them to get out of proportion. Every day finding yourself becoming emotionally much calmer. 3, you feel a greater feeling of personal well-being, safety, and security. You begin to discover much more confidence in your ability to do what you have to do each day, and much more confidence in your ability to do whatever you ought to be able to do easily, optimistically, and happily. 4, and because you're aware these things are happening, not because I say so, not because of some wonderful words I know how to say, but simply because it's the decision that you made for yourself. You begin to feel much more contented, much more cheerful, optimistic, as every day you do better and better. 5, eyes open, refreshed, alert, feeling good. There, you've already started to change, but keep the momentum going. Loving yourself isn't a single decision. It's a conversation you have with yourself every day. And the words you say really matter. I made another video called The Simple Trick to Stop Negative Self-Talk. It's a small shift that makes that voice inside your head a lot quieter and a lot kinder. Click right here and I'll walk you through it.